Most people miss these subtle signs, but once you know them, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Attraction isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides in small gestures, a glance, a laugh, a pause. Here are 7 signs that someone might secretly like you, starting with the eyes. Sign 1. They hold eye contact a little longer than usual. In a normal conversation, eye contact comes and goes quickly. But when someone likes you, their gaze tends to linger, even when you both look away. You might notice them glancing over, then quickly looking away when you catch them. This caught-looking moment is one of the clearest signs of quiet interest. Psychologists call this gaze holding. It's a subconscious way of showing focused attention. It's different from a nervous glance. This is steady, warm, and intentional.
Watch for it during conversations, across a room, or even in group photos. The key detail isn't just that they look at you, it's how long they look and how often they do it. One glance means nothing, but a pattern of lingering looks can reveal something much more meaningful. So the next time you catch someone's eyes lingering on you, pay attention, because it might not be an accident. That's the first sign. Now let's move to something your body does without you even realizing it. It's called mirroring, and it happens far more often than most people think. Let's break down exactly what it looks like. It begins the moment you shift your posture, and they unconsciously shift theirs too. When someone secretly likes you, they often start copying your body language without even realizing it. If you cross your arms, they may cross theirs a few moments later. If you lean forward with interest, they naturally lean forward as well, almost like a reflection in a mirror. Psychologists call this mirroring, and it's considered one of the strongest subconscious signs of connection because our brains naturally try to synchronize is with people we feel comfortable around or emotionally connected to. Pay attention to the little details. Do they reach for their drink right after you reach for yours? Do their feet naturally point toward you even when the rest of their body is facing somewhere else? Do they gradually soften their tone of voice to match your energy? None of these behaviors are usually random. Mirroring is your body's quiet way of saying, I feel connected to you. The important thing is not to overanalyze every single movement. Instead, look for a consistent pattern throughout an entire conversation rather than focusing on one isolated moment. When mirroring keeps appearing again and again, it's rarely just a coincidence. That's sign number 2. Now let's move to something even simpler. Proximity. Have you ever noticed someone who somehow always seems to end up near you, even when it doesn't appear to be planned? Let's look at how people often find excuses to stay close to someone they secretly like. They may always seem to have a reason to be near you. Maybe they choose the table closest to yours, even though plenty of other seats are available. Maybe they volunteer for the same project or task without any obvious reason. Maybe they just happen to walk through the same hallway at the same time as you, over and over again. On their own, each of these moments could easily be dismissed as coincidence. But when they happen repeatedly, they begin forming a pattern that's difficult to ignore. Psychologists sometimes describe this as proximity seeking, the natural tendency to stay physically close to someone you're attracted to. It's a quiet way of creating more opportunities to talk, interact, or simply share the same space without having to admit their feelings directly. You might notice they linger a little longer after conversations end instead of leaving immediately, or they choose the longer route just so they can walk past where you are. These small detours are rarely about convenience. More often, they're about creating another chance to be near you. So if someone consistently finds themselves close to you, it may not be luck at all. That's sign number 3. The next sign is a little more obvious once you know what to look for. Nervous energy. Have you ever noticed someone suddenly stumbling over their words the moment you walk into the room? That awkward reaction often reveals far more than they intend. When someone secretly likes you, they may become noticeably nervous around you. This can appear as fidgeting with a pen, adjusting their hair, tapping their foot, or constantly finding something to do with their hands. Sometimes their voice changes too. They might speak faster than usual, hesitate, or stumble over simple words. Blushing is another classic giveaway, as is avoiding eye contact immediately after holding it just a little too long, almost as if they realize what they've done and quickly try to correct themselves. Nervous laughter is another common sign. They may laugh a little harder than everyone else at an average joke simply because they're anxious and trying to ease the tension. This happens because attraction activates many of the same biological responses as mild stress. Their heart beats faster, their palms may become sweaty, and their brain suddenly struggles to find the right words. While it can look awkward from the outside, it's often a surprisingly positive sign. The real clue isn't whether they're nervous in general, but whether they're noticeably more nervous around you than they are with everyone else. That contrast tells you much more than the nervousness itself. So if someone becomes unusually flustered whenever you're nearby, it may be worth paying attention. That's sign number 4. Next comes something many people underestimate: memory. Do they remember tiny details you mentioned once weeks or even months ago? Maybe you casually mentioned your favorite coffee order, and they unexpectedly bring it up later. Maybe you briefly talked about having a difficult day at work, and weeks afterward, they ask how everything turned out. Maybe you mentioned a favorite song once, and somehow it appears in conversation again. This kind of memory usually requires genuine attention, and attention requires interest. Our brains naturally remember the things that matter most to us, so when someone secretly likes you, they often file away even the smallest details you share. That's why they can surprise you by remembering comments you've completely forgotten making. It's a quiet way of saying, "I was really listening," without ever speaking those words aloud. Compare that to someone who forgets your name after meeting you multiple times. The difference isn't simply memory, it's what they choose to remember. So if someone consistently surprises you by recalling little things you barely remember mentioning, take it as a meaningful compliment. That's sign number 5. Now let's move into one of the most playful signs of attraction: teasing and light touches. Playful teasing is often a safe disguise for affection because it creates closeness without forcing someone to openly admit how they feel. People often tease the person they like because it allows them to create a little emotional tension while keeping things lighthearted. They might gently joke about something small, give you a playful nickname, or lightly poke fun at a harmless habit, always with a smile that makes it clear they're trying to make you laugh rather than hurt your feelings. Along with teasing, you may notice brief, casual touches, a light tap on the shoulder after a joke, a playful nudge during a funny moment, or a quick touch on your arm while they're laughing. Individually, these moments may seem insignificant, but together they can reveal a growing sense of comfort and affection. The key is that these touches are brief, natural, and easy to explain away. They're just long enough to create a feeling of closeness without drawing too much attention. Healthy teasing follows the same pattern. It should leave both people smiling. If the teasing feels harsh, embarrassing, or leaves you feeling small, that's not a sign of healthy attraction. It's something entirely different. Genuine affection is playful, respectful, and warm. These small touches and jokes are simply low-risk ways of expressing interest before someone feels ready to say how they truly feel. As always, don't focus on one isolated moment. Instead, notice whether these behaviors happen consistently with you or whether they're exactly the same with everyone else. If someone only teases you, only finds excuses to lightly touch your arm, and only shares that playful energy with you, that consistency is far more meaningful than any single action. That's sign number 6. The final sign is one that often appears without a single word being spoken. It shows itself through small flashes of jealousy or quiet protectiveness. Maybe their smile fades ever so slightly when someone else captures your attention. Maybe they become a little quieter when another person joins your conversation. These reactions aren't necessarily about control. More often, they're small emotional responses to suddenly feeling less important in that moment. It's important to understand the difference between healthy jealousy and unhealthy possessiveness. Healthy jealousy is brief, subtle, and quickly fades away. It doesn't try to control your choices or make you feel guilty. Protectiveness often appears in a similar way. They check to make sure you got home safely. They notice when you're having a bad day. Or they quietly stand up for you when someone treats you unfairly without expecting praise or anything in return. These acts of care are usually small, consistent, and easy to overlook because they don't demand attention. Watch how they react when your focus shifts elsewhere. A brief flicker of disappointment, followed by a quick return to their normal, relaxed self, is completely different from someone trying to control who you spend time with or making you feel guilty for talking to other people. If those feelings grow into possessiveness, manipulation, or controlling behavior, that's no longer a healthy sign of attraction. But when protectiveness comes from genuine care and respect, it can be one of the clearest signs that someone truly values you. So there you have it, 7 quiet signs that someone may secretly like you. Lingering eye contact, mirroring your body language, finding reasons to stay close, becoming nervous around you, remembering the little things you say, playful teasing combined with light touches, and subtle moments of protectiveness. Remember, none of these signs alone can prove how someone feels. Any one behavior could simply be coincidence or part of their personality. What matters is the overall pattern that develops over time. When several of these signs consistently appear together, they begin to paint a much clearer picture of genuine attraction. The best thing you can do is stay observant without jumping to conclusions. Trust the patterns you notice rather than searching for meaning in every small interaction. And above all, remember that the clearest sign of all isn't hidden body language or subtle psychology. It's honest communication. Kindness, respect, and a genuine conversation will always tell you more than guessing ever can. If you enjoyed learning about these signs, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who might find it interesting, and follow for more insights into human psychology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.